Good afternoon, real estate fans. I am your host of the Seattle Real Estate Podcast, Dan Edwards, with the Seattle Real Estate team. We have an amazing show. It is Wednesday, July 17th, 2024. Like I said, we have a great show, and we're going to talk to our good friend Tucker Maxwell with Mortgage Moment. We're also going to have Evan Amundson with Heartland HR and Payroll. We're going to be talking about tax incentives. But and during the Real Talk segment, I should have done that first, whatever. During the Real Talk segment, we're going to be talking about June's numbers. And there are some very interesting numbers that I think are going to bode well for the housing market. And I mean that in a very specific sense. So let's jump right into our Real Talk segment. All right, so during our segment here, we're going to talk about June 2024 housing numbers, and we do this every month. These numbers are basically a comparison against what happened last June and how that's going to affect buyers and sellers in this marketplace. So let's get started with some numbers. So first off, we want to start with King County, and I'm looking for my King County breakdown. Boom, King County breakdown. So in King County, the total active listings actually increased 43%. So 44%. That's a great sign for buyers. Now, a lot of times we see that spring hit, and that starts in May. And we did see an increase in May. So we're seeing an increase in May. We're seeing an increase in June by 43%. We're seeing closed sales actually decline 7.17%. Why is that important? Well, we have an inventory challenge right now, and that inventory challenge goes all the way back to the fall of 2021, fall of 2020, where we hit a run through COVID. And actually, no, I'm corrected. It's actually the fall of 2019. Fall of 2019, we saw super low interest rates, 3.5%, that brought people into the market. Then we saw COVID. Nobody knew what was going to happen. And then the housing run has been on a tear ever since, taking us down to record low inventory numbers. So to see our housing inventory increase by 40% in King County, yet our closed sales going down even just a little bit, creates buffer in the market. It creates more supply. So our median home price, despite the inventory increase and the sales decline, has gone up 5.42% over June of last year. Now, these median income prices are not a testament of where we are priced for everybody. You can't just take 875 to the bank. It's going to be very specific for you, for your market locally, but also too, when you take a median home price from this versus last year, you really never know what last month looked like and the month before. So, but it does give you an idea of which direction we're tracking, and up 5.42% year over year is a good number. It's not 13%. And in this market, that's a good number too, because it means it's slowing the appreciation, reducing the closed sales, increasing active inventory. That puts downward pressure. Am I saying that we're going to be seeing lowering prices? No, but you are going to see longer market times, and you may see price reductions. So the cumulative effect is much more complicated than that. All right, let's look at the East Side market breakdown. So the East Side market breakdown showed an increase of total listings by 33.99%. All right, 34%. So that's a good sign. Our closed sales, a slight decline of 1.2%. And however, our median sales price increased on the East Side to $1.4 million. Now, that does, again, I always say median home price is not indicative of appreciation of what it's going to mean for you. Are you going to get 10% appreciation? But this is a pretty significant number. That means the median home price on the East Side, that means Redmond, Kirkland, Sammamish, Issaquah, Snoqualmie, $1.4 million. So it's a pretty high price. Now, what does this all mean in the bigger picture? I mean, really, it does it does mean a lot of things. Number one, put away this banner. Number one, both King County and East Side saw significant increases in active listings. Number two, pending sales remained relatively stable. So you still saw a certain amount of pending sales increase with only a minor decrease countywide. Closed sales declined. And again, it's a slight decline, but it does mean longer closing times, and it may mean buyer hesitation. We know with interest rates, and we'll talk with Tucker on that here in a little bit, how that's affected it. But lastly, while inventory levels are starting to increase, they still remain relatively low. And actually, let me see, do I still have the breakouts? I don't. Well, I thought I had the breakouts here for percentages, but I believe it is, looking for my research. I'm going to find it real quick. Stats and service, current statistics. And I know you guys are on the edge of your seats now. King County, King County breakout report. Okay, so East Side is 1.4 months of inventory, and all King County is 1.94. So again, inventory remains low, but these are positive signs of increasing that inventory. When we increase inventory, that relatively decreases demand. We decrease demand, prices are going to go slightly down. All right, so now let's see, we're going to talk during our mortgage moment how the current news over the last couple of weeks have affected the buyer's strength out there. So we're going to take a short commercial break. We'll come back for our mortgage moment. I'll come back after this short break.
It's about time. Do you find you never have enough time for what matters most to you? Our comprehensive It's About Time virtual productivity program teaches you the secrets of long-term, sustainable, and life-changing productivity. We provide monthly webinars, implementation challenges, resources, community, and accountability. You'll learn tips, techniques, and strategies to help you more effectively and efficiently manage your email, tasks, time, workspace, priorities, projects, and resources. You'll implement organized systems and productive habits that work. You'll finally get better results at work, experience less stress, have more time to dote on your clients, time to spend with your family and friends, take better care of yourself, pursue hobbies, and get more out of life. Do you crave more time for what matters most? Are you ready to take control? Isn't it about time? Well, to start having more time for what matters most to you, call us at 206-579-5743 or visit our website for more information at www.itssimplyplaced.com. Again, that's 206-579-5743 or visit our website, www.itssimplyplaced.com. Join today because really, it's about time. Your time.
Welcome back to the show. I'm your host of the Seattle Real Estate Podcast, and I am joined by our good friend, Tucker Maxwell. Tucker, how you doing today?
I'm doing very well, Dan. How are you?
Dude, enjoying this stretch of sunshine. As a matter of fact, I can't even think the last time it rained, to be honest. Like, I think, are we in a drought? Is it official?
I think so. I had that same thought this morning. I think I've ran my sprinklers the most consecutive days that I've ever had in the 10 years I've lived in this home.
Yeah. All right. Well, fantastic. Any feedback on those numbers? Had you heard that? And I called it a turnaround because I really believe this is kind of the space where we turn to a more balanced market.
Yeah, no, we're definitely experiencing it on our end too. We're seeing a lot of buyer friendly contracts, seller concessions, prices at or below list price. So it definitely seems to be a more even ball game right now. Obviously, neighborhood and desirability of the home can swing that, but for the most part, we are seeing that the buyers have a little skin in the game.
All right. So what's going on over the last week? I know there was some good news, mixed news, but I actually made some money in the stock market this week. That was kind of weird.
Yeah, exactly. The stock market is showing well. I think a couple days in the last week, we've had record days, in the S&P and in the stock market, which is good news for home loan rates. When the markets typically do well, you'll usually see interest rates come down. So it's kind of a win on twofold because your investments are making more money. And if you're looking to borrow money, you can borrow at a lower cost. So it really has turned things around. And I would agree. As we've talked about, we don't typically like to share interest rates because that's a static thing. But currently today on July 17, we are at 5-month lows. So not getting into the specific necessarily about the rate specifically, but rates have come down from where they peaked in April.
That's pretty good. So April of this year was a peak in the upper sevens.
Yeah. So, and I just pulled the report looking at, January 1 through today. On April 25th of this year, according to Mortgage News Daily, which is a great resource for just unbiased rates peaked at 7.5 or 7.52% exactly on April 25th. And today they're saying that an average rate being locked in today is at 6.8%.
Gosh, that's just about average. And again, we have to be very careful out there to understand that, there are about 40 plus metrics that go into an individual's own rate. But knowing that, what's that going to do to the market?
So it's definitely going to heat it up. I've already seen it, this week in terms of application counts. We're always looking at the front end, how many leads are coming in, how many applications are being submitted, because it's a good telltale sign of what type of loans will originate in the next few months. And so leads are up. We've already received more leads so far in July than I received all of June. So that's positive note. And then I look back at July of last year and June of last year, and we're above that as well. So, and last year, this time of year, rates were 7.5 would have been a great rate. So it's definitely
what's interesting about that, Tucker, is what we may see now is a more of an extended spring summer market, is because of those rates coming down. Those people that basically were kind of not so much are now going to jump in, because we have plenty of time to get you in a new home before the school year starts.
Exactly. And there's inventory out there. So I think, really, and what I was really excited about, and I was able to call some of our clients and let them know that with this recent dip in rates, they can qualify for more. So maybe if they were on the sideline based on, really they wanted to get to that next neighborhood or a little bit higher of a price, that's coming into play now, because in the last 5 months, buying power has increased to the tune of about $25,000 for every buyer.
Yeah, and just put it in perspective, is when we talk about interest rates dropping 1/4 to 0.5%, we're talking about tens of thousands of dollars in affordability, right? We're not talking about thousands, we're talking about tens of thousands of dollars in affordability. And so when you see now inventory expand, you see days on market expand, seller credits become more in play. So I would say that early spring market was probably good for sellers, better for sellers, even though interest rates were high. That early market is always going to be there, right? So, I've talked to several sellers, and, they want that sweet spot of April. But I would say too, sellers, you have an opportunity now. Again, you have to price things right. You have to be doing that. But, Tucker just told you, Mr. and Mrs. Sellers that might be watching this, more applications just came in. That means the application process takes about 2 weeks. So call me. Let's list your house. Let's get it on the market. Let's get it sold. Get you where you want to be next year. So going forward, as you look at the second half of this year, what kind of challenges do you think await potential buyers out there in the coming second half of the year?
Yeah, so I really think this is going to increase competition. There are people that can't qualify today, but if the rates continue to drop, those doors open up for buyers. And so these seller credits, these price reductions, these things that we're talking about, they may have a short shelf life, because as competition heats up, just simple economics 101, if the inventory remains the same and our buyers or our demand increases, that's going to increase prices. So I would say there's some urgency to this. As rates come back and competition increases, not only are the prices going to change, but your ability to negotiate in credits, do inspections, take your time really evaluating, is the home right for you. That flexibility and that comfort in purchasing will disappear as the market heats back up.
Do you think, Tucker, that when the feds do lower the rate, one of the things that I think a lot of people don't geek out as much as you and I, but when feds lower the rate, it's designed to increase corporate spending. Increasing corporate spending can do something to help our affordability, and that's raise wages.
Yep.
So what do you think the timeline is based on that? Because that could really counterbalance some of the affordability issues if we actually see wages go up.
Yep, exactly. So we're anticipating that the first cut will be in September, and so you're right. There will be a trickle down effect of that. It'll take some employers to kind of react to that. One thing they'll probably lift their. A lot of companies are in situations where they're on a hire freeze, where they're saying we're not hiring anybody right now. We need to just hold tight. Or they're saying, hey, we're not giving cost of living adjustments until this changes. We need to just kind of buckle down and kind of wait. Once they hear the Fed's cutting rate, they're going to be able to go to their employees and say, hey, we can now deliver that increase to your pay, or hey, we're going to open up the hiring and bring in some new people. So I think specifically for the greater Seattle areas, that's going to give our tech community some confidence in their job. Whereas for the last year, they've been a little bit hesitant as to will they be laid off, or what is their long-term income look like at these companies.
Yeah, exactly. And then those companies are cash rich, but when there's an environment where borrowing money costs much, much more, it's fiscally responsible for them to be good business owners and keep it close. Which actually leads me into my next guest. This is like a brief segue, but we're going to be talking about incentives for businesses to hire. So anything else you want to add about the interest rates or markets?
No, to segue you right into that, that's another thing to talk to us about too. I think you and I can put programs together for companies as a way to incentivize and retain top talent. Is you should have a home buying incentive as part of your employee benefit package. So if you are a homeowner, or excuse me, a business owner, and you want to incentivize your employees, there is a lot of data around that employees are more likely to stay with their company as a homeowner than a renter, because they've planted those roots, and it really leads to employee retention. So reach out to Dan and I if you want to talk about how we can incentivize your employees to buy homes.
That is a great point. And because of benefits, home ownership, it keeps them there longer, right? It keeps them anchored in the community. And I foresee, if things can, if we can get this economy kind of growing in the right direction, there's going to be a lot of opportunity to want to try and recruit people to your business and keep them there. And adding something like that, like a home ownership initiative, we're happy to help. All right, Tucker, thanks so much for coming on the show. Appreciate it. After this short commercial break, we're going to welcome back Evan Amundson with Heartland HR and Payroll. So join us after this short commercial break.
Are you worried about your health holding up as you age? Buying a new home often involves paying your mortgage for 15 to 30 years, and you'll need to be at your best to keep working strong as you age. Cummins Chiropractic and Wellness has helped families just like yours regain optimum health as they work hard to provide for their family. The team at Cummins Chiropractic and Wellness treats patients with both crisis care and lifestyle care with our state-of-the-art individualized services. We have seen thousands of people reach and maintain their best health as they age. To learn more about how chiropractic can help you achieve your best health, you can call Cummins Chiropractic and Wellness at 425-590-9158 or reach us online at cumminschiropractic.com.
Welcome back to the show. I'm Dan Edwards with the Seattle Real Estate Podcast, and I am joined with my good friend Evan from Heartland HR and Payroll. Evan engages with small to mid-sized businesses to pinpoint inefficiencies in employee management. He leverages his network and his experience to make sure that customers are putting energy towards revenue-generating tasks, uncomplicating HR, and improving employee culture. Something that sets Evan apart from other payroll consultants is that his success is measured on client retention. He supports customers long-term so that they can scale up their business and create more time and money. Evan, welcome back to the show.
Thanks for having me, Dan.
All right. How's your day been?
It's good. Another day of wearing a collared shirt on camera, but wearing shorts off camera. So,
I didn't need to know that, but that's okay. I mean, you look pretty formal to me, and I love it. So, the topic today, tell us a little bit about how hiring can be profitable. A little bit about your business.
So, Dan, my job at Heartland Payroll and HR is to work with small to mid-sized businesses and help them not only selling my products, payroll and HR, but more importantly, finding ways that they can generate more revenue. And one of those ways is through a tax credit program that has been around for decades. It's called the Work Opportunity Tax Credit. What it is an incentive for businesses to hire job seekers that the government would want to put to work.
Oh, excellent. So that's not something new. That's something that actually is a focus on trying to serve a community.
Exactly. But I would venture to say that 98% of businesses don't know about it or don't take advantage of it. So there's just a huge opportunity for businesses to generate some revenue through being able to take part in the process, because about 20% of their job applicants are going to qualify for eligibility.
Okay. So now this question says, tell me about some of the programs Heartland has to help businesses make money. Is that the only one, or are there others?
There's actually others. I wanted to focus today on work opportunity tax credit, but just keeping it on a very high level, businesses, when it comes to their employees, they can generate tax credit revenue through offering a 401k program, through providing healthcare to their employees. And for those in the food and beverage industry, they can actually generate a tax credit on the employer portion of tipped wages. So there's lots of different ways that businesses, just through examining their process, can A, help their employees, but B, help themselves with taking advantage of every credit that's owed to them.
I was going to say, so it's not just about hiring. It's also about making sure you're taking advantage of the programs that are available through accounting practices, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay. So give me some examples of businesses that are taking advantage. And this is the first one, which was, what was it called again?
The work opportunity tax credit.
Right.
Businesses that are more likely to be able to take advantage of it, looking at some of these job applicants, they're going to be potentially eligible. The more a business is hiring, the more they're likely to find those applicants, particularly businesses that are hiring hourly employees. So anybody in the food and beverage industry that's going through a ton of turnover, waiters, servers, dishwashers, trades are going to be experiencing that as well. I think I mentioned 20% of job applicants are going to qualify. So there's just a ton of availability for job seekers to be able to.
Okay. So let me see if I follow this. Just because, my thought process is hiring can be expensive, especially if it's a bad hire, right? Mm-hmm. If you bring somebody in, you train them, you spend time and money to train them, you don't really see the return on that investment unless they're actually, helping improve the bottom line. So what are some of the strategies businesses that are hiring can do to find more opportunity in that 20%?
Couple of different ways. They can take a look at their hiring process, and maybe if they do have job requisitions and job postings out there, they can expand the visibility of how many job applicants are seeing that posting. There's locally here in Puget Sound, there's an agency called WorkSource, I think, where businesses are more likely to find somebody that's going to qualify for that particular tax credit that we're talking about. Another way that they can make more efficient the hiring process is to build in pre-screening questions. So either a business, I hear things all the time, either they don't get enough applications or they get not enough qualified people, or they're getting applications and they're just getting flooded again with unqualified people. So adding in pre-screening questions to the hiring process is going to allow them to drill down on the specific experience or skills that they are looking for, and it's going to weed out people that aren't a good fit. So the business owner or admin person is just going to be focusing on people that they actually need to focus on.
Okay. So tell me about this. How much money can a business make hiring eligible employees?
So the great thing about this program is that it's a completely uncapped program. There's no limit to the amount of workers that somebody can hire in a given year. If you hire 10 eligible employees, you're going to be able to recoup that for all 10 employees for your business. And you can actually carry the tax credit forward up to 20 years if you're not able to use it, let's say in 2024, for example. Mm-hmm. The range for eligible employees is anywhere from $2,400 all the way up to $9,600 per employee that you hire. So it is a huge, huge deal for businesses to be able to take advantage of this.
Where do you find these eligible employees?
Like I mentioned, if you are
So you can
specifically-
post on worksource.com. That's a specific place.
WorkSource is a good strategy to finding people that are going to potentially meet that criteria.
Yeah.
Through Heartland's applicant tracking, we are actually able to, if a business posts a job and they're looking through all of their applicants in one spot, we actually have a way to filter down and just look at people that are potentially eligible for that particular tax credit, because part of the job application process includes a pre-screening for the tax credit. So that's kind of built into our technology.
And these would be folks that are maybe retooling their education, so to speak, in order to, move over, or does it matter?
It really could be quite a few different circumstances. I mean, it could be a mom or a dad that's coming off of 6 months of maternity or paternity leave. So they would be qualified as an unemployed individual. I mean, King County alone has 95,000 people that are unemployed. So it's not that a business needs to change on the type of the person that they're looking to hire. It's more a matter of being able to build this into their process so they can still hire the great people that they want for their business. But if somebody's potentially eligible for a tax credit, then all of a sudden you can take advantage of it.
Got it. I got it. So if you're a business that may be cycling through employees, just because that's kind of the nature of the business, like you said, in the food service industry, by utilizing some of Heartland's tools, you can continue to do what you're doing, but now you can also recognize a tax credit for your situation. So how many job seekers qualify locally?
I did want to read you a couple of stats, if that's all right. So 1 out of 8 Washingtonians is on food stamps. Here in King County, we have about 180,000 people on food stamps. As I mentioned, the unemployment rate is about 4%, which gives us about 95,000 people that could potentially get a job and qualify their business for a tax credit. We've got 90,000 veterans in King County. Not all of them are going to be eligible, but veterans actually net businesses the highest amount of $9,600 if they are qualified. And then there's something called supplemental security income. There's a few different categories within that, like having a documented disability. About 33,000 people in King County as well. So there in total are over 300,000 people just locally that are going to qualify businesses for a tax credit. Wow. And you had mentioned earlier, yes, Heartland does help our customers with this, but my goal in chatting with businesses is for them to find a way to recover this tax credit with or without doing business with me. So,
how does a business go about doing that then?
Most CPAs will not. I think I jumped ahead in this question, but most CPAs won't offer any sort of service like this because it's pretty cumbersome to do all the paperwork with the state of Washington. I work for Heartland, which is a payroll provider that does this not only for our big customers, but for our small customers as well, which I think is a differentiator in the payroll industry. And there are some companies that do it that's not contingent on a business changing their payroll process. So there's a number of, and businesses can also do it themselves, but I will say, unless they have the time to learn that process and learn how to pre-screen their employees and fill out all the paperwork on the back end, it is kind of a pain in the butt, which is why.
And again, you already said CPAs don't do this. So this is something that the HR department has to handle, and Heartland is already tooled for that. So why don't businesses know about this?
I think just because of what I mentioned, it's so seldom used, and it's one more thing that a business owner has to worry about that is not an easy thing to recover without having a partner, without having a technology to simplify it. So I talk to business owners all day, every day, and all they do is just run around with their hair on fire. They wear a lot of hats. So if you mention this to them and it's not like a super, super simple thing for them to do, it's kind of something that just can't be made a priority. So when it's tied to payroll, it's very, very easy to take advantage of. It simplifies the onboarding process as well for new hires, and it allows businesses to offset a lot of their other costs through generating the tax credit revenue.
Awesome. Well, listen, how do businesses get a hold of you?
I think I see my name scrolling across the bottom there, but
well, your name's not on there, Evan. Sorry about that.
Oh, that's all right. some guy
What's
at
your name?
Heartland Payroll HR at 425-478-8891. Anybody that's watching this probably has Dan in their network. I'm happy to chat with them. Dan can give you my info, but I'm at evan.amundson@heartland.us. You can find me on LinkedIn as well. I appreciate it.
Awesome. Well, hey, I thank you so much for coming on. I really appreciate it. Evan, I've known him for a while, and he is a great guy. If you are looking to take advantage of not only this employee credit, other tax credits in your business, just want to have a take a look, I encourage you to reach out to him. Evan, thanks for coming on the show today.
My pleasure. Thank you.
You take your car to the shop to check under the hood to make sure everything is working properly. You take your body to your doctor every 6 months for a checkup to ensure you're healthy. You get your teeth cleaned at the dentist often. Okay, well, maybe not often. But what are you doing to make sure your house is staying in tip-top shape? At Key Inspection Services, we value quality, expertise, and education above all else. We inspect all types of homes of any size and age, whether you are buying or selling, or just wanting to learn more about your current home. Our services are designed to be a one-stop shop for all homeowner needs. We offer sewer scopes, air quality testing, mold testing, infrared scans, and more. Whether we are reaching new heights on a roof, traversing the trenches of a crawl space, or having a crappy day scoping your sewer, no pun intended, we strive to give you the best service possible. As the #1 home education and inspection company in the Puget Sound region, our goal is to ensure that you are more knowledgeable about your biggest asset at the end of the day. You can easily book online at www.keyinspectionservices.com or give us a call at 800-748-8766.
All right, that's all we have time for our show. Thanks for watching. We appreciate it. Please do subscribe, like, and share our Facebook, our YouTube, Instagram, all that good stuff. You guys have a wonderful week. Enjoy the sunshine. I'm Dan Edwards for the Seattle Real Estate Team and the Seattle Real Estate Podcast. Have a great week.